Everyone listening, you're going to come away with all the travel tips you need to know to save money, travel better, and travel in style.
He's ready to go, he says.
The number one thing people will say is it's too good to be true. It is not. You're going to get addicted to points, so it's fair warning to anyone.
This makes perfect sense.
Wow.
So that is where shower in the sky.
You're kidding.
So
That's wow. I have to reassess like the way I do everything, I swear.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Gals on the Go podcast. It's Danielle.
And Brooke, happy Wednesday, guys.
Happy Wednesday, happy summer, even though it's officially still not summer. People keep telling me this.
Oh, because it's not the summer solstice.
It's not. I think June 21st is the first day of
I actually
summer.
have been holding out because
Really?
I just love daylight. Like I love the max
Yes.
amount of daylight. So I know like when the sun is setting, like it's been like 8:30. Like we're approaching, I think the latest it will set in New York, I could be wrong, I think it's like 8:40. And I know
believe
that
it.
that's on the solstice. So I do kind of keep up
She's
with that.
holding out for summer solstice.
No, but I kind of hate it because then it starts to progressively go backwards. From there.
True. It is really trippy though, because I'm sure you've been having this too, because you've been like unpacking and moving and stuff. You're like, wow, I'm so productive, and it's still daylight, and then it's like, oh, it's 8:30 though.
Yeah, the day just completely like merges into the night. Yeah, and I'm like, it's probably time for dinner. Like, but
Yeah.
the sun is still like completely out. Yeah,
It's great though. Like, I just feel like everyone's alive and happy.
it's amazing. June in New York is probably I think the best month. One of both fall is nice too, but June
Yes.
we've also been so lucky. Series of just beautiful days. Like
I know.
cross
There's
your
like
fingers.
no rain on the forecast.
I
this
know.
week.
I'm just saying. I don't know what June is just amazing.
I love June so much. So Illy June, Illy New York. We love that. However, I feel like I have this one song stuck in my head.
What song?
Could you guess?
No, I really don't think I
There's
could.
not a song that's constantly stuck in your head right now.
I was going to talk about in the favorite, like who's stuck in my head, because I don't think we're never on the same side.
No,
of the
no. When I say
internet
the
or
song, you're
anything,
gonna be like,
Uh,
please. Guys, is anyone else just struggling? Like, has the please flu? Like, it is stuck in my head. I don't even know the whole song, Brooke.
I think that was me last week, and then I finally listened to the song, and I was like, I mean, the song's good. Like, it's good.
it's a great song.
It's solid, but that was stuck in my head last week, too.
It's
You gotta
stuck.
switch into something else.
I
then.
gotta switch into gears. I don't even I've barely played it. It's just when I go on TikTok, it's like heartbreaks and whatever. Like, it is every single song, and I haven't gotten tired of it yet. However, I think I'm gonna go crazy soon.
Yeah, I mean, she's just putting out banger after banger, though, and they're all like...
It's amazing.
It's also amazing how TikTok really controls the charts in general.
Yes.
Because I went just to see, like, I've had people, like, working my apartment, and I have, like, a problem with silence.
Oh, of course.
When people are there, I'm like, gotta put something on. And I'm like,
Yeah, what's been your go-to when, like, there's a grown man in your apartment?
honestly, bossa nova jazz, like that.
Why did I know
searched-
you were gonna say that?
Because I think
you
I
had
told
it
you I've been
on.
putting on bossa,
Yeah.
like it's neutral, but then also just top 40. But top 40 is TikTok. Like it's the same exact. If you put on, I haven't listened to like the regular radio in the longest time, but from what I observe, then I actually found like a really good playlist on Spotify. It was called like Teen Party. But it was like,
But it's good. Like,
but it
it's
was
hitting.
so good because it was like,
Yeah, it's like what the
some
teens are
TikTok
listening to.
sounds, but then some remixes. Like it was really funny.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, hi plumber. Alexa, play Teen Party. That's really funny.
Or continue playing Teen Party.
So, did you have a teen party this past weekend? Like, how was your weekend?
No teen party to be had. I did. Well, I had an adult party.
Yeah.
Not really party. I finally
gathering?
Well, yeah, a gathering.
A hangout?
Yeah, a hangout.
A kickback.
I finally walked the Brooklyn Bridge, which I wanted to do.
How
with
did
my
it
friends.
go?
I loved it. I mean, touristy as heck. My God.
Yeah,
Every 5
things along the
seconds.
way.
Yes. Lots of. You have to guard,
Overstimulate.
dodge the people. I actually did take a photo. Like we wanted to get a photo, so of course,
Yeah.
we go up to someone like, "Hey, can you take our photo?" Literally the worst photos I've ever seen,
Oh, gosh.
respectfully to this man.
So
That's
sorry.
okay. I mean, half the photo is the floor, so like, it's just one of those.
Feet on the
like,
bottom,
yeah, I know,
buddy.
you didn't know.
He didn't know.
I take his picture. He must have been like a European man. I feel like European men just like, they're different. Like they pose different, whatever. And I was like, do you want a photo? He's like, yeah. And he goes into place and he didn't just like, smile, like hands on the hips, hands to the side. He starts like posing, and it was like a sick background, but he's like chin up. And I was like,
Stop.
great. And then he like goes chin down. He was doing hitting, and
Just knowing you, like, I know you were like, okay.
I was. My friends were like, your sound effects are so funny because you're like, oh yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just know, like, you wouldn't have just done it. You were like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing.
Because I was just sitting there firing, and it was like not an iPhone. I had no idea how to work
like,
it. I was
how?
like, it was like showing me that it was recording. I was like, am I taking video?
no.
But I think it was photo. I took the most amazing photos of this guy. You took the worst photos of us.
No, literally. It's like, I want to redo after that photo
I
shoot.
know. I was like, this isn't even equitable. Like,
Especially when it's like a scenario where it's something where you want like everything in the background and it's beautiful. Like, we're not getting the floor, buddy.
no, he got like the
really funny.
freaking rickety, like whatever,
floor,
like wooden
pavement.
post.
How long? Oh, right.
Because it's
you're
like
right,
at one
the
point
wooden.
it was a really cool walk though. I
How
feel
long
like
did
I
it
see
take
why
you to
people
get
do it.
one side?
Oh, we only walked it one way. I guess. Do you walk it both ways? Is that what people do?
So I have no idea. Delaney's family did it yesterday, and they went back and forth. Like, they went to Brooklyn, and then they like got ice cream, and then came back.
Oh, that's cute. So we were like, we walked with purpose because I was like, then we'll like go to my apartment. So we met in Fide.
Oh,
And
that's
then,
cute.
like,
That makes
yeah,
sense though for
so
your
walked
afternoon.
across. It wasn't as long as I was thinking either. Maybe I mean you're like talking like that's why
Yeah.
it's such a great thing to do like a walk and chat because I was like getting quality gossip.
Of course.
Like catching up with my friends.
Of course, quality
and-
gossip. That's the
This is
best.
the best gossip when you like haven't seen each other for like a month. I'm like, oh, tell me everything.
No, it's actually the best, like walking and talking, and it's just so fun because you're like doing something at the same time. It's been my new thing when someone's like, "Let's get drinks." I'm like, "Can we go for a walk?" Like, I
Look
would
at
much
you.
rather do that.
It's so, I'm in that like era of life.
Well, it's just
too,
nice out,
right now.
too.
Yeah, yeah.
So how long did it take you?
I don't know, maybe 20, like I 20,
This
30
is
minutes.
so crazy.
What did
That's
it take
what Delaney
them?
said too. And I swear, me and Margot Lee, it was like a very hot day in July, but I feel like it's hot now. We went halfway and we were so hot and like had to walk back.
Maybe it was like too hot. It wasn't that. It was like 75. It was like
Oh,
a
true,
beautiful
true,
day.
true.
Yeah, and then
You
we
gotta
went to
redo.
Dumbo, hung out. I feel like really no news. And then I celebrated Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. A little belated.
But so did they come back to your apartment? Because I saw you got popsicles. Like, I want to know everything.
Oh yeah, then they came over. I mean, my
showed them your
apartment's not like
place?
it's
Oh,
not.
hush, but it's-
no, but it's.
it
I mean,
speaks
it's
for
literally
itself.
just a couch. No, of course they wanted to see it, but I feel bad. I can't really like fully entertain the
Yeah.
scale that I want to right now.
Yeah.
But then we went to the pool, which was great.
That's so nice.
Yeah, hung out. It was just great. Like a nice catch up day. I like having a place that I can like. I have like things in my building that I
Yeah.
can offer people to do that aren't just my apartment.
Yeah, that's exciting.
But I would like it to be able. I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I have a task rabbit coming tomorrow. Like we're
Hey,
making.
doing the
Yeah, you need to just like do it. Cause I feel
Yeah.
like I have boxes of furniture and it's like, oh, we'll build it tomorrow. Oh, we'll build it tomorrow. And I'm like, no, the task rabbit is coming. We're getting it done. Like I'm not looking at this box
You
anymore.
almost have to like plan a full afternoon or a full day that you can just like
Head down,
down, hair up.
furniture. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Well, I got my dad coming to town. My parents haven't seen the place since I bought it.
Oh yeah, they're due.
Yeah, they've been on the go. So I like have a list. I'm like, Dad, hang this, measure this, like
Oh, for sure. Like, and the thing is, they want to do those things.
100%. Oh yeah, he's ready. He's coming with his
Toolbox, ready to
Yeah,
go.
yeah. But I actually have a full-fledged like
You have your
toolkit
own, yes.
that he made for me. That is an amazing
the best
gift. Yeah.
gift.
But I think you can order. I was actually scrolling on Amazon. They have like cute, like little like pink toolkits and everything that
Really
you could just order.
cute.
Do you have a toolkit?
My same thing. My dad
Oh,
like
made
went to Ace
you.
Hardware and like, because you don't need it all. You just need the specific things.
He has reading glasses in there. Ben and I were digging through it. He was like, "Oh my god!" Because
That's really
because when he wants to like see and measure and stuff.
He left a pair.
Yeah, he loved it.
That's really cute.
Yeah, like the ones from like Dwayne Reed or
no,
whatever.
I know,
like,
but so sweet.
Yeah,
He's not leaving his Dolce & Gabbana prescriptions in there. Oh, I'll get those for Brooks' place.
No, and like pencils to like mark
Yeah.
on. Does your dad puts those
Of
in there?
course.
Maybe
They
you
always
know?
ask. Well, he had to because he was always asking for a pencil. I was like, I don't know the last time I
Yeah,
used a
same.
pencil.
I know. I'm like, I got a black ink pen. Like,
Yeah. We don't buy
pencil.
pencils anymore because we're not doing like math
no.
problems.
Oh my gosh! And pencil like writing, it gives me the ick. Honestly, like
No.
that, the noise of like pencil on paper like is enough. That sends me into orbit.
What was your pencil though growing up? I liked the yellow Ticonderoga ones. No.
I feel like I was electric pencil. No, is it electric? What's
not
mechanical?
electric.
electric pencil.
But the way I knew exactly what you meant when you said
Mechanical
that.
pencil because I'm big on a fine point. It
Right.
needs to be so fine, and then my handwriting is literally illegible when it's so fine like that.
But it needs
But
to
it
be
needs
fine.
to be that
She
fine.
fine.
So you know when you're filling out the Scantron?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm aging myself. I remember the mechanical pencils that like weren't Scantron compatible. Like you had to read on the mechanical pencil box like Scantron compatible because some of the ink
yeah.
on some of them like
I never knew there were Scantron
graphite.
compatible ones.
Well, they've made strides.
Dang. I know it was always like you had to bring like your normal
Yep,
pencil.
yep,
No
no
mechanical pencils. Wow. Well, it sounds like you had a
you're
nice
so
weekend.
yellow pencil. That's
I'm so yellow
yeah.
pencil. Like back to school shopping, I needed like the bright yellow one for the thumbnail.
But you would, of course, use an electric sharpener to get that
Oh my
super.
gosh, of
Oh my god, the
course.
crusty sharpener.
I mean, we all did them, but the electric ones. Oh my god, I'd have it on my desk and you go.
yeah.
Wait, I like in the mood to shave a pencil. Sounds nice.
Back
Sharpen.
to school shopping. That was always fun, actually. But then you would get them like unsharpened, and then you'd have to like prep the night before.
I know.
Like, oh,
we should
yeah,
do like
yeah.
I don't know if we could do a whole episode about it, but like some sort of nostalgia back to school episode this fall.
Yeah. Fun,
Just because we're
wholesome.
a nostalgia podcast. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah. Like matching the folders to the certain subjects.
Of course.
Oh, gosh.
Purple was always English for me.
Really? Blue
Blue
was
was-
like math or science.
Yeah, of course. So you had a nice weekend.
Had a lovely weekend. Nothing, no news, good news.
We
Yeah, tell me.
hosted an event, our own
We
influencer event
did.
with Fresh Beauty, which was so fun. And you can go on our Instagrams. We like are posting like little like recaps from it and stuff. It was so cute and just so fun. But Brooke and I had to give a speech.
Speech.
And it was actually really exciting. But then at the end of the event, we had like Polaroids and disposables and stuff around, and they took a Polaroid of Brooke and I.
We had taken pictures like earlier
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the night
like,
and stuff, but it was like, oh, like take a Polaroid, whatever. And it just, you know, at this point,
Mind you.
it's 10, 11 p.m. We had been there since 6, honestly.
6 p.m.
6. Had my makeup on from the full day. Those photos were giving end of the night. You guys know when you take an end of the night photo, it's like, you're not looking the same way you did when you showed up. No. It's a
It was so funny. The Polaroid, like, you know, you have to wait for it to develop, and then it develops. And Brooke and I both grab it. We both are like silent. When neither of us are like, oh my God, it's so cute. Brooke goes, it's giving end of the night. And I started howling. It was the funniest thing she'd said all night, and she's a funny person.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
And I was so funny. Or I was so funny.
No,
it was
you
so
were-
funny.
it was very-
But that was a really fun event.
And you know when you're trying to like do the roll of film or whatever,
Yeah.
then you're like, oh, okay, let's just take these, whatever.
Yeah, like, just let's get
it
them. Like, hey,
done.
you.
No, you got to get your photos at the beginning of the
Oh,
night.
yeah.
The end of like your hair falls.
The makeup's just a little bit greasy. Like,
It's
it just
crusty.
happens.
I know. I like mascara. No one told me
Mascara.
my mascara.
My
Yeah.
mascara.
Mascara.
love
My
the way you
lip
say
gloss is off. Like
The lip liner, my lip liner is starting. It's like you can't see inside my lips. It's just the outer line. That always happens because when you eat and stuff. But that truly
that
was
was the
so
end
fun.
of. Tell me about your weekend.
It was really lovely, kind of dynamic.
Oh. In what way?
I don't know. I feel like last week I just went to a lot of events. Like I really had to charge up myself. It was
were.
events girly, and I feel like we both go in and out of phases. Like you're right now, like kind of in your like unbox, like you're
Moving. Yeah. I kind of knew. I was like, all right, give me a month. Like
Yeah, I'm off for the month, but I don't know. Last week I decided to say yes to actually everything I was invited to. So
That's fun, though.
It was fun. I really enjoyed it. But on Saturday night, our hairstylist had like a party for her hair salon. Mad's hair. She's doing like. It was her 1 year anniversary of her hair salon. Anyways, I brought Ryan along, and it was so funny because he's obviously never been like. When would he go to the hair salon with me? Like he had never been.
Yeah.
And she had the party at her hair salon. It was so cute. She put drinks in the shampoo bowls with like as like
Oh, that's
coolers.
cute.
I was like, this is kind of iconic.
People do
and-
it as like a sink. Yeah.
yeah. I thought that was a really cute idea, but the funny story I had from it is, so it's her salon's in Lower East Side, and she has these like, you know, she has these huge windows that open. So she opened them. Literally a DJ was like outside. There was people grilling in the front. So like kind of felt like a block party. Like, you know,
That's
you were
fun.
there because you were invited, but like I think people started to just kind of think it was like a party. So I go to the bathroom and I come back, and Ryan's inside by like the shampoo bowls, and he's talking to these two guys. And Madison owns the salon with her brother, and he's like this cool guy who like has all these cool guy
So cool.
friends. He's the coolest. And so there were a ton of guys there, so I just figured all these guys were his
Yeah.
friends. So anyways, I'm like talking to these guys, and I'm like, oh yeah, like how do you know, blah, blah. And they were like, oh, we don't. We were just walking by, and this seemed fun. Oh, what's that to drink? I'm going to get one. I was like, okay, this is so funny. And then I guess I like walk away, and Mads like goes up to them, and Ryan walked away too, and she's like, hey, like, thanks for coming. How do you know my brother? And they were like, oh no, we just walked in. Or no, they didn't say that. I'm sorry. She's like, how do you guys know my brother? And they're like, oh no, we know Ryan.
And Ryan's like, I literally just met them
Well,
right now.
Ryan
when
wasn't
they
there,
were-
so he couldn't
Oh,
defend
that's
himself.
So funny.
And then it happened a second time. This woman
Oh,
walks
that's funny.
in, and she's like, do you get your hair done here? I was like, yeah. She's like, you like it? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, what is this? I was like, it's a party for her 1-year anniversary, aka like leave.
Yeah,
Like,
for customers.
For
like,
customers.
yeah.
And she went and grabbed a drink. She's talking to people. It was just so, for some reason, me and Ryan were like the people
That's
to talk
hysterical. I'm so not like that. Like
No.
even when stores will say like, come in, like free champagne, whatever, I almost avoid it because to me, like the social interaction of that like
Absolutely
makes
not.
me more like worked up. I don't know how to
Definitely.
describe it. But other people, they're like, oh, party, come on, you know.
Party, even
grab
though like definitely I don't think was her goal. I mean, it was good publicity, I guess, for her salon, but
yeah.
it was just funny. And yeah, I did a lot of decluttering. Went to West Side Highway yesterday and like tanned with my friend Caitlin.
Oh, that's fun.
Just had a little New
yeah,
York
you've
weekend.
been taking advantage of the beach. On the
I
west
know. Well, we didn't go to the beach. We went to the like grassy area.
Oh, I see.
Gotta work on the tan.
Yeah,
Gotta
you look
get it-
great.
No, it's fading. I hate it. Like, but I'm not self tanning until September.
Oh
you
my
know my
gosh.
rules.
We're like the same right now, and I have this is a light coat of self tan. I like
You
scrubbed
always
off
look so
myself.
tan.
Oh, but I've been on a journey. I had like a botched self tan for a few weeks, and it stayed on a little
not
too
happening.
long. You know. Yeah.
Well, I think we should do our favorites.
Yeah, let's do it.
Of the week. So this favorite segment is actually sponsored by Fresh Beauty. So thank you so much, Fresh Beauty, for sponsoring this portion of the video. You guys know how much we love Fresh Beauty right now. And we're obviously highlighting some of their rose products. Like their rose products are just phenomenal. They smell so good.
So good. They are premium skincare products.
for sure.
The packaging, 10 out of 10. The products themselves, amazing. I feel like they're really big on like the skin barrier and
Yes.
like hydrating.
Yeah, so it's the Rose Hyaluronic Acid Deep Hydration Toner and the Rose and Hyaluronic Acid Deep Hydration Moisturizer or Face Cream. It's great. You can use them separately or together. We loved using the toner first, just tapping it into your face. It smells so good. There's real roses in it. And then you can go in with the face cream and just apply it all over your face. Very hydrating, like Brooke said. So great to strengthen your barrier, too.
Yeah, I've been doing it morning and night, like
Yeah.
the routine. I've actually been doing the toner on like a cotton pad and like,
Yeah.
you know, kind of doing
Wiping it
that
away. Mm-hmm.
as like a triple cleanse almost. Like I'll take off my makeup, wash my face, and then like do that.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love
kind
that.
of get it all clean, but then like add back in the hydration. But I feel like the toner, like it doesn't strip, it like hydrates, which I like.
No, it doesn't feel like what you would think. Like it truly feels like it's adding back that moisture
Yes.
already, and then topped with the face cream. I mean, the products talk for themselves. Like when we had the event last week, like so many of our friends that came were like, "I've already been using Fresh for so long. I love it," and they got their goodie bags. They're like, "I get a refill. This is so exciting." So these products are available to purchase at Sephora, and thanks again to Fresh Beauty for sponsoring this favorite segment.
Yeah. So what else are you loving?
So I am loving my scalp scrubber or scalp massagers, whatever you want
Like
to
the
call it.
silicone guy?
Yeah. Everyone's like bought one at some point. I think I had one in the past from like PR, and then I just didn't use it. So I repurchased another one. I went to Primark the other day, and they like had, you know, when you're at the checkout section.
Yes. Tell me about Primark. Tell me about the
Oh, it's so
shopping
fun.
experience.
It's
Yeah.
ginormous, a little overwhelming, but I found some really great pieces. It's just so inexpensive and like
I
cute
know.
and trendy stuff. Like you definitely should go to the one in Brooklyn.
Yes. No, in my area, everyone's walking around with their Primark bags. I swear.
really?
Like most people are, like if they're carrying a shopping bag, like 9 out of 10 times it's a Primark bag.
I mean, it makes sense. I remember when we were growing up watching YouTube, it was like I'd watch Zoella do her Primark haul.
Of course.
And that we have one in New York is so cool. And at the
Yeah.
American Dream, too.
Molly May talks about Primark.
Does she?
Yeah. If I'm remembering. Yeah, she
Probably.
does.
That makes sense.
And there's other ones too. I feel like she does like more affordable fashion, which I like. She shows like really good stuff.
No, they have like the best. I got some great like linen dresses for some, like
great.
highly suggest. It was so fun. There's like so many floors. But when I was checking out, they had these scalp scrubbers and I used it. It feels so good. Like when you're washing your hair to like go in. Cause I feel like too in the summer, if your like scalp gets sunburned, it's just like disgusting, crusty, musty. Like you just don't like when your scalp starts to peel. So I feel like this kind of helps stimulate. It also helps your hair with hair growth because you're like stimulating the hair follicles. So I use that, or if I'm just putting in like scalp serum, like the Divi stuff, I'll just like go in too. Yeah. It just feels good too. Like getting a hair massage or head massage is the best.
I love those like big like I you know what I'm talking about. They're like
100%.
like metal with thin things. That
and they would
kinda-
go up and down. Those
It's
are
so
the best.
satisfying. Oh my gosh, there's nothing like the feeling of someone like playing with your hair. Or whatever. Oh my God,
100%.
I'm like, oh.
What are you loving?
Okay, so I wanted to talk about music because
right.
yes. Okay. Are you on Charlie XCX TikTok? No, there's no way you are. I know
I
that
do
you're
not have the pleasure.
Oh my God, I am so deep on Charlie XCX right now.
What's
Like
going
that
on
is
with
like
Charlie?
she put out an album. Have you heard the phrase Brat Summer?
No.
You have. Oh my God, we're on such different sides of the internet. Okay,
Is this on TikTok you're seeing this?
it's TikTok, but now it's infiltrated like everywhere. Okay, so
Rat
let
summer?
me educate
Okay,
you
please.
on.
School time.
A few months ago, I heard that Charlie XCX did like this. There's this like pop-up sort of like DJ set that people do called a boiler room set, and it's usually like people who are in the music industry don't come for my neck, please. I'm trying my best here.
Yeah.
But a lot of artists do it like when they're kind of on like the come up. Like Fred again did one like a few years ago, and then like that's how he was already discovered, but that's like, you know, the platform to like really blow up or whatever.
Cool.
So she did, and obviously she has music before, like, you know, I got the feeling on it. Yeah. We know her, we love her. She did this a few months ago, and then that was kind of like her transition into like club music.
Oh,
Yes.
cool. I could see that.
And she came out with this album called Brat, and you haven't seen it. It's
Like
Greek.
Bratz dolls? Like that?
Brat, like that's just
like
the name
a
of
brat.
it. Like, I guess her Finsta name was something 360 Brat or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that. So I'm pretty sure. And I think that was the inspo for it. It's like neon green and it just says Brat. Have you
Cool.
seen like people
Literally-
like making memes about it and stuff
No,
now?
I mean,
Okay.
I'll do a quick search while you're talking, but
Okay. And then I was driving in Brooklyn the other night, and I saw there's
is
like
it this?
yeah.
I have not
well,
seen
she's
that
like
at
holding
all.
it. Yeah.
Green Brat. I love it.
Okay.
So camp.
So it's like club music basically. Like
Okay.
a lot of it like has like a house beat behind it, and it's just like fun, and it's just like such a vibe. I really really like
I feel
it.
like I'd like it.
Yeah, you would like it. It's just like pop, but like a little bit of like a beat.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Switching it up.
For sure. And she's fully leaning into this. And now I'm on like her side of TikTok. She did a show in Brooklyn. So then I drove by and I was like, oh my God, I missed it. Like,
Dang.
and then I was getting all the videos from it. She did a show in LA, had Addison Rae.
Kind of
Like she has like a remix of a version of a song with Addison Rae. Addison Rae's making like a whole pop moment thing. She's
Where have I
rebranding.
been?
Oh, and now I'm like so deep. I feel like it's kind of like a little bit like gay culture, a little bit like
Cool.
it's just very like cool people. Like I feel like are into this, and
yeah. I think you're
love
cool
it.
if you're on that side of the internet.
I think I liked
You're a
a
cool
few
brat.
things. But then you're like, what is Brat? I kind of looked it up, and she said, or Brat Summer. Because I was like, oh, is it about being like, you know, single and like crazy?
Yeah.
It's not. She's engaged, and she said that Brat Summer is like the juxtaposition of being like growing up, but then like not. So kind of like
I love that.
So she's like she's like in her 30s, and she's like, I still want to like go out and have fun and like be crazy, but also like in the back of my head, I'm thinking about like, oh my gosh, like I'm an adult, and like
I love that.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
That's
And
amazing.
people are wearing like, have you seen this more like grungy style? Kinda?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, she's like, it's kind of about that.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not explaining it great.
Yes, Brooke, you're explaining it so well.
Okay.
I'm going to listen to this album on my walk back. Like, I'm so
Okay.
excited. Brat Summer.
It's
No,
fun.
I am here
Brat
for it.
But she's like,
Oh, she
British,
says it
or
is-
she's like Brat Summer, like
Brat
yeah,
Summer.
I can't
Let's
do the
go.
accent. Is she even British? I don't know. She's somewhere. She has an accent, so
You never know until they speak because when they sing, you can't really hear it. It's
not
so
at all.
trippy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, thanks, Brooke, for
I
enlightening
know.
us on
I
Brat
never thought that
Summer.
I'd be like so deep into her, but I honestly love pop. Like I love a pop
Yeah,
star.
me
I love that type
too.
of stuff. And I feel like the pop girlies are having their moment right now. Like
I'm
the
happy
Sabrina
for them.
Carpenter,
Olivia Rodrigo, all those girlies. Mm-hmm.
and I'm here for it. So that's all. Wow, we didn't even really intro this episode, but guys, we have a good one for you. This is
Oh my God, you're going to die.
Brian Kelly, the points guy. He's giving you all the tips. We kind of get into it. So without further ado,
Let's go talk to King Brian himself.
yeah. Enjoy. And we're here today with Brian Kelly. Hi, Brian.
AKA the points guy.
AKA the points
My
guy.
mom actually calls me TPG.
Oh my
As
gosh.
does Claudia. Yeah.
I like
TPG.
that.
Wait,
I like-
I'm kind of into that.
Yeah. It's kinda
TPG.
cool. Yeah.
It is kind of cool. TPG's in the house with us. He's caffeinated. He just had lunch. Like, he's ready to go, he says.
I am here. We're going to chat, gossip, but like, trust you me, everyone listening, you're going to come away with all the travel tips you need to know to save money, travel better, and travel in style, because more people than ever are traveling.
Yeah.
And it's a jungle out there. So I'm going to give you the tips on how to make it enjoyable.
No, selfishly, the gals here are very excited. So we have just a little intro, just because we have to. Brian Kelly is the founder of The Points Guy, like he said, TPG, the trusted travel media platform that has revolutionized the travel and loyalty industries through expert insight, innovative technology, and acclaimed rankings.
From his beginnings in finance, Brian has used his expertise and passion to transform TPG from a personal vlog to an unrivaled media powerhouse with over 11 million monthly visitors. Holy crap. A full team of contributors. That's a lot of freaking people. And you might know him from the side of the Delta plane, because that's how I know. Every time I get on a Delta plane, I'm like, I know that guy. I know him.
It never really gets old, you know?
I feel like that's such a flex.
Yeah. And Delta just won our 8th annual Best Airlines. They came in at #1 for the 6th year in a row.
So you like announced that this week, right?
Yeah, we just announced it. Every year we like to look at, because everyone's like, what's your favorite airline? And, if you live near LaGuardia, you're going to like Delta. If you live near Newark, you're United. Especially in cities. I mean, luckily in New York we have a choice, but, for the Atlanta girlies out there, they're like, well, it's Delta.
Yeah.
But at the Points Guy, we like to take a look at like huge amounts of data. So like on-time arrivals. We also give points for loyalty. So 25% of the best airline score is their loyalty program. Are they making good changes or negative changes? So our team, we take a holistic look, and then also like fees, the customer experience, stuff like free Wi-Fi. So our rankings are not just like a bunch of people in a back room saying, oh, we like Delta. It is statistically, done based on numbers. And Delta is the most on-time airline in America. So at the end of the day, transportation is about getting to where you want to go on time, and Delta delivers that more than any other airline.
I love that there's like a whole formula to the score. It's not just like, you're like, Delta's cool.
Yeah,
No, I actually
Yeah,
like that you
great.
kind of broke it down, because I'm like, we actually both went to Georgia, so we grew up, or not grew up, we went there for 4 years, so Atlanta was our airport. So that's truly when I like converted to Delta.
Yeah.
And then LaGuardia, I would say, is my favorite airport, maybe yours as
Oh,
well.
yeah. I mean,
So then that's Delta.
Well, LaGuardia now has been completely redone, and I don't know. Have you been to the new Chase Sapphire Lounge? So
No.
we can get into how to
Yes.
how
Oh,
to
cards
like
and-
luxuriate in the airport, because there are some
Luxuriate.
there's
That's
some
an amazing word.
there
Sorry
are
to
some
interrupt.
amazing new lounges out there. Like, travel does not have to be horrible, and I
Yeah.
think for your young audience, there is never. It's never. I don't want anyone listening to be like, "Oh, I'm too young. I'll figure out the points thing or travel in my late
Yes.
20s or once I have." No, start today. If you're in college, start today. I cannot stress enough.
I think you were on the toast. This, like, you've obviously been on a few times, but one of the times you said it, it really hit me. Like, just make the account and start getting the
Yeah.
points, right?
Yeah, like table stakes. Everyone at least have the frequent flyer program of the airline you're
Right.
flying. It's free. By being so lazy it takes 60 seconds or less to sign up for the Delta, the United, the whatever. Attach it to your whenever you fly, put it in when you book your flight or right away, or at the very minimum, even if you're flying at the airport, you can give them your frequent flyer number. Even if you haven't done that, you still have like 6 months to claim past flights.
No excuses.
So there's no excuses. But, flying is not the main way you're going to earn miles. It's all about credit cards. It's about being smart. And what I love about your generation and younger generation is like, and especially through TikTok and social media, is the emphasis on financial literacy. Because I didn't have that growing up. I'm 41, so I'm like an elder millennial, but like I was left on my own to figure out finances. I moved to New York City, was broke. And so I love that there's now an emphasis on finance. And truly, like, when you turn 18, you should already be on your way to getting your credit score in line. It's sexy to understand what goes in your credit. In your college years, you should be building your credit, and so that when you graduate, you don't have to have your parents. The system is set up. You do not need to have rich parents in order to have
true.
good credit. You do not need to have a 6-figure job to have good credit. Good credit is an asset that will open up keys throughout your life, not only just getting points for credit cards and taking cool trips, but your mortgage, you will pay less and save thousands. So if you really want to be rich in life and you're unsure if the career or profession that you have, what you can control is like how much you pay attention to your credit score. And it's really not rocket science. And funny enough, the more credit cards you have, and as long as you are maniacal about paying them off in full, that is the key. Like, if you are in debt and paying 30% interest, you will never win at the points game. You will never win at finance. You must be really smart about putting everything on points earned in credit cards, but then paying it off every month. Because if you're the type of person that's going to be like, oh, I have an extra $1,000 and let's just book the trip, and then you're going to pay that off, you are losing tons and tons of money. So I'd never recommend that. So I want to be extremely clear before we get into all this underworld of points is like, to win at credit cards, you have to pay your bills at a very minimum on time every month, and then ideally in full, because any interest you pay is just money you're throwing away.
I have a
Mic drop.
I have a twofold question. Okay, so for people who have how many credit cards, I guess, is there like a sweet spot number of them?
So if you're just getting started, so to answer the question off the bat, there's no set number of credit cards. I have 27 credit cards and an 800 plus credit score. I have never missed a payment in the last 20 years. You know, I pay them off in full. The interesting thing, and FICO's the credit, there's a lot of different credit scores out there. FICO is the main one that like banks are going to pull when you get a mortgage. So your FICO score, and they say on their website, there's a pie chart, and literally paying your bills on time is, I think, 30%. The other 25% is your debt to credit ratio. So interestingly, the more credit cards you have, the more available credit you have to you, and the less you use, the higher your score goes up.
Really?
Yeah. So it's the more, in a way, as long as you pay them off in full, the more credit cards you have, the more points you'll have, and the better your credit score will be. That is the aha moment. Everyone in the points world kicks themselves when they have this realization saying, wait a minute, what? I was always told if I open a credit card, my score is going to go down. And there's like a kernel of truth to that. Whenever you apply for new credit, you're going to get like a 2 to 5 point ding on your 850 point score. It's really doesn't mean anything. But as soon as you start paying those bills in full every month, your score goes up. So you see this in the points world, and being smart with credit is you have multiple lines of credit, you're using less of it, your score's going up, you're getting better interest rates on whatever loans. It's like, so I really do believe like, and I'm proud that like so many people get into this because of points, because the upside to getting credit cards is so big. I mean, think about it. It's like $1,000 per credit card that you get minimum in value these days. There's so much competition for young consumers. Like banks want to get young consumers into their ecosystem. So they're giving away 80, 90, 100,000 point sign-up bonuses regularly. Wow. So think about that. To get back to the question, I think a very like conservative approach is, look, just get one credit card today. You know, for an audience that is probably paying rent, the Built credit card is like the no-brainer. That is, and I'm full disclosure, an investor, I believe that business. But it's amazing. There's no annual fee, and you pay nothing to pay your rent. So you're earning points on rent, and you're improving your credit score. So literally, and even if you have like an old school landlord that takes a check, Built will cut a check to that landlord.
I was going to say, so I know a lot.
So there's a lot of like misinformation out there. People, the number one thing people will say is it's too good to be true. It is not. You know, like Bill has, you know, it's probably the fastest growing credit card in America. But for anyone who's young, doesn't want to pay an annual fee, and wants to earn points on their most, you know, your biggest monthly expense, the Built card is just the no-brainer card. And you earn double points on travel, triple on dining. With your Built points, like on the first of every month, you get free SoulCycle rides. You can then use your points for.
Built is so like savvy.
It's in everything. Well, thank you for answering number of credit cards. So if someone, let's just say they don't have any credit card, I got my first one. I think you told me to get it.
The Delta one?
Yes. No, but I was like well into college, I feel like, and I was just paying everything with the debit card, like fully making money and everything, but I just didn't understand. I think I was like 21 then.
Yeah. So I was 19.
Yeah, you got,
Well, we were flying Delta all the time. So I still have it, the Delta, just like the gold credit card. I think it's just called Delta Gold. But see, now I'm like, I feel like I could be doing a better one. Well, we both have Delta Gold, and then we both have the Amex Platinum. Those are like our two.
I don't have the Delta one anymore.
Oh,
the
you do
original,
not.
Like I got rid of that because then I was like, I feel like some of them have the same benefits.
Yeah. Once you start getting into it, you should diversify. And there are credit cards that you should have for points, and there are credit cards you should have for perks. Both have value. So, but the credit card you spend every day on should be a card that gives you the most valuable points. So in the case of Delta Gold, there's nothing wrong with that card.
It's very
but you're earning one Delta mile, which is like, let's call it 1 cent.
Okay.
When you spend, a Built point is worth 2 cents. So off the bat, 1-to-1 Built points are way more valuable than Delta, because you can transfer them to a number of like amazing partners, or redeem them for hotels through Expedia. There's a lot more options. Whenever you just accrue, and I know that in the beginning people will be like, well, I just fly Delta. Let me just do Delta and that's that.
My brain.
And that's fine. That's fine. But what happens when your friends are flying Emirates to Dubai and you're like, ooh, all of a sudden you've got ton of Delta miles, but then you can't, or the hotel in the Bahamas that you could use your Hyatt points, or so like, so it's fine to start with the simple airline co-brand, but in general with the airline and hotel cards, they're only good when you fly that airline or, Delta Gold will give you and up to 8 companions free bags, which alone will pay for the annual fee. So as long as you're checking bags once or twice a year. But really the key tip, takeaway one, the foundation of your credit card, like strategy should be a card that rewards you in transferable points. So the Amex Platinum is that, in that you can transfer Amex points like 30 different partners. Chase Ultimate Rewards, and I think the Chase Sapphire Preferred is like a very good $95 intro card that a lot of people, that's a good card. So the Built and the Sapphire Preferred are like the 2 intro cards that I recommend to people.
Like if you're 18 or how old would you recommend someone to be?
I would say, well, those cards generally require, let's say, 680 and up credit score. So everyone now, you can check your credit for free, annualcreditreport.com. Everyone should know what their FICO score is. If you have existing credit cards like Amex and Chase, they'll give you your free FICO score in the app usually. But everyone right now, like just check your credit score, get your head out of the sand, even if these things sound, just know where you stand. The issue with credit is it's chicken and egg. A lot of times you're like, you need to have credit to get a credit card. And people will say, well, what do I do? So if for some reason you can't get a Chase Sapphire, you should just know what your score is. If you're in like the mid-low 600s, the chances are, if you don't have anything negative, like you didn't miss bills, first off, you check your credit report. And if there are any mistakes, like say some college landlord decided to like report you for missing rent and it was false, you have to dispute them. So take it, step one is like clear your credit report. There's automatic dispute process to do that.
Clear your record.
Clear your record first and foremost, dispute anything that's wrong. The second is building credit. And so I would say like for college kids, Discover cards are generally a lower credit profile to get. So I would try to get a Discover card. If you can't get a Discover card, what you'll need to do is get a secured credit card. So, and another tip to boost your credit score immediately, if your parents have good credit, if they add you as an additional user, you inherit their entire credit history.
That's what I did. Yeah.
So it's a really big leg up. So your parents, obviously, they're responsible if you spend anything on the card, but a hack here is you can say, hey, mom and dad, can you add me to your credit card? And you can set the spend limit to $1. I won't use it, but bless me with your credit history, which will immediately shoot your score up.
It's such a hack. Like as long as you don't disrespect it, like
Correct.
your parents
and even
will
if
for sure
you don't know if your parents have good credit, usually they're not going to transfer. If your parents have bad credit, it could negatively affect you, but in general, the credit agencies are not going to ding you for someone else's. So it's really only generally upside you can get. But that right alone can get you into the territory of getting your own cards because like credit history is like 15% of your score. So if you don't have that, you can't get a Discover card. I would say you get a secured credit card. And what that is you're going to put $250 or $500. You basically prepay. And then you just start using that credit card. So, but you can only spend up to what you put down on the card.
Gotcha.
Are those usually through your bank?
You can do it through a bank. There's a number of like online. You can like do a digital deposit. It's basically like a prepaid credit card that you prepaid. So there's no credit. You can't
go past it.
Exactly.
Because it's whatever you put in.
Exactly. And truly 3 to 6 months of that. And this is the same for if you're an immigrant, if you lived in the UK and all of a sudden you move. I know billionaires who have had to start with a secured credit card because credit does not transfer internationally in many cases. But anyway, start with a secured credit card, 3 to 6 months. You'll see your score start going up. And then you get into like the Chase Freedom is a great intro. But yeah, you'll be shocked. Your score can get up to 700 with a couple simple moves. But the first step is like understanding what your score is, cleaning up any mistakes, and then just getting, your first card. And once you get your first card and you're responsible with it, and you pay every month in full, your score will just start going up. And then you can get a second or a third. And then in general, I think a conservative strategy is 2 credit cards a year. If you're getting the hang of it, paying your bills, you love it, you're going to get addicted to points. So it's fair warning to anyone who's going to get into this game. I've never once in my history, 14 years, millions of people reading my website, I've never once had someone come up to me and be like, I regret getting into points. Everyone's just like, oh my God, the biggest regret is I can't believe I waited this long because it is such a no-brainer. Even if you don't want to travel, you should be getting cash back. You could be getting real value, saving, if you're on a shoestring budget, a couple percent cash back every month can be a lifesaver.
So having 27 credit cards, are you like at the grocery store and you're like, okay, I got to use this one? Or do you have them all on Apple Pay? What do you do?
I mostly have most on Apple Pay. And I have probably 4 credit cards in my wallet that I use day to day.
Like the go-tos.
The go-tos, yeah. I mean, when it comes to points, so the Amex Gold, so I know everyone has, a lot of people have Platinum.
Yeah.
And I like the Amex Platinum card. But like step 2 of the point strategy, once you have one card, then you're like, okay, let me be really smart, is you look at everything you spend your money on. And everyone should do this exercise. Look at what you're spending your money on, what categories. Restaurants, ordering in, supermarket, travel, etc. Look at it all and see, and rent, and see what am I spending every year total, and look at the big buckets. And then you want to get credit cards that will give you the biggest bonus. So if you spend a lot on groceries, the Amex Gold 4X points on all US groceries and 4X on dining. So that's like kind of a no-brainer card. And it's like half the annual fee of the Platinum card. The Platinum card is a great card for perks if you're using lounges.
Yeah, that's literally why I got it.
But the Amex Platinum, what most people don't realize is it's only 1 point per dollar on almost everything. It's 5X on airfare and like prepaid hotels. But the day-to-day stuff, like when I go out to dinner with people and they throw down an Amex Platinum, they're like, aren't you so proud? I'm like, no, because you're only earning 1 point. And people are like, what? It's the best Amex. So it's the highest. So I get more excited when someone throws out an Amex Gold and I'm like, oh, you're in the know. Or, Built is 3X for dining and Built points are super valuable. So between Built or Amex Gold, those are the dining cards that you should have.
You're so right. People love to like throw it down and then you're over there like, actually, no.
I'm like, you're doing
winning.
great, sweetie.
You're doing
no.
Should we be putting everything on credit cards then to maximize points, like no debit card usage at all?
Absolutely. You should never use a debit card.
Oh my God, I needed this.
There's no...
Yeah, I randomly do sometimes.
And in fact, using a debit card hurts you. So there's instead of just points, so there's huge protections on credit cards. So if someone hacks your debit card, it's really annoying. Like you may not be able to pay rent until the bank processes, they will eventually.
It literally takes your money.
It literally takes your money out. If you go to a fraudulent vendor, like your checking account does not have the same, like with putting something on an Amex Platinum, like you are protected. And then plus, when you think about it, if you're really savvy, once you have big credit lines, like sometimes I just let it may be up to 2 months before you have to pay a balance off. And in high interest rates, if you've got a high yield savings account, leave that money in your high yield saving until you need to pay off your bill. So basically credit cards are free money. You get like at least a month and change of free float that you can let your cash be earning money and extra protections. And then on top of that, all of these really valuable points.
This makes perfect sense. How do we, you're probably going to be like, just put it all on auto pay. Like, but how are we managing like 27 to me? Like, I feel like
27,
something would slip
look,
through the
I
cracks.
have a full time, no.
No, like this is your job.
Every single credit card you get, you at a very minimum, you put auto pay for at least the minimum payment. Your credit score will not go down as long as you're paying the minimum payment.
Okay. Oh, really? Yeah. I always wondered because you said pay it in full.
Well, so look,
if you can.
So here's the deal. Even if you pay your credit card in full every month, the way that credit reporting works is they don't report on your due date because everyone's due dates are different. They report, Amex will report everyone's balances halfway through the month.
Okay.
So even if you paid it like a week later, which was the due date, you're still going to get reported as a balance. On a month-to-month basis, your credit score does not matter. Your credit score only matters when you're about to apply for new credit, like a car or a mortgage, in which case you're about to apply. What you're going to do that month where you're getting ready to apply is you pay off your bills maniacally. Like, you want your bills to be zero for like weeks so that when all your different credit cards report, you're at zero of all your available credit and your score shoots up.
Genius.
So, you don't need to be that maniacal about it month to month, but like applying for something big, an apartment or a car, you want to like prepay in advance.
Like a month or two before?
Yeah, but ideally you want every credit card that you get, just put auto pay for the full balance every month. You just need to make sure that there's money in your account.
Yeah.
Or without overdrafting or something, because you get penalized for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's better to be penalized for like a $35 return payment fee, which is what will happen, than say
missing.
Yeah, because and generally they'll have a grace period. So if you do miss a payment, just call your credit card company immediately. They generally don't report like late payments unless you're like months late.
Gotcha.
So what everyone needs to understand is just like, set up auto alerts, push alerts on your phone. Every single bank now has alert me if within 3 days. Like you should have push alerts within 3 days of every balance. So you're like, okay, let me move some cash
Smart.
around. But at a very minimum, as long as you're paying the minimum, yes, you're going to get hit with interest, but your credit will not be dinged for
Okay.
just paying the minimum.
Okay, great. So you gave us kind of your best first credit card. You said, well, maybe not built right away, but you said Discover, just those three
so
again.
first credit card. So like a Discover student card,
Yeah, for
Chase
students.
Freedom. Yeah, Chase Freedom is really good to get into. Chase Freedom Unlimited is 1.5% cash back, basically. The beauty of Chase Freedom is, you will get to a point when you have better credit when you get a Sapphire. Sapphire unlocks a whole new world. So instead of cash back points, the Sapphire cards, preferred and reserve, allow you to transfer to airline partners. And this is where like the big girls come into play. It's all about transferring points for first class, business class. That's why the points game is so fun. Even if you don't want to fly first class or business class, warning, the first time, if you've never flown business class internationally and you don't mind flying economy, then just stay flying economy, because once you start flying up front,
I can attest.
you are ruined for life. So
You're like, this bed doesn't lay down? That's so crazy.
and once you start that, like, I like to have people just like, because it's not just the seat. I mean, it's just
It's
when
the
you start flying
service.
business class, I no longer like dread the flight home after vacation. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to like one
Get
last
your work
splurge,
done.
Yeah.
champagne, watch a movie, hang in the lounge. Even if it's delayed, you're in the lounge having champagne. It does change your mindset. But that is like, so you'll graduate from cash back cards, which you're getting like 1% to 2%, but then, and then you get these transferable points cards. And this is where the real fun of the points world comes in. And it's a little confusing
I
of
don't
when
think
do
I've heard this term.
Yeah, so transferable points. So the Bilt, Chase, Amex, and Capital One are the main, and Citi also has a program. But like when you accrue into like your Amex, you can transfer to like 30 different partners. And for example, like Flying Blue is the frequent flyer program of Air France, KLM. They have amazing deals, like 50,000 points one-way business class. So this is where 50,000 points on a Freedom card is $500 cash back. Okay, great. But 50,000 points when you transfer to Flying Blue is business class to Europe, which is a $4,000 ticket.
Wow.
So that's the joy. That's the aha moment where you're like, okay, like every year I'm getting 500 back on my credit card. Okay, cool. I don't know why everyone cares about points. But then it's when your girlfriend has the same amount of points and is bawling in the lounge and is paying less than you are for your coach seat where you're crammed in the middle.
Yeah.
That's the joy of the points game. And that's what I love teaching people is the graduation of, okay, let's get you a credit card. Now let's get you transferable points. This is when you become a real points girly.
Oh,
and then it's like maximizing, like, okay, so now where do I transfer my Amex points if I want to go to the south of France this summer? And historically, you'd have to do that all mentally. Like American Express has like 30 transfer partners. So you'd have to go to Air France's website, Air Canada's a partner, Delta's a partner. And you're like, but now there's a whole crop of new tools that kind of like Google Flights does for searching for cheap airfare. There are these new tools that will allow you to search for award tickets. One of them is called Point.me. Point.me is actually, if you're an Amex or Bilt customer, it's built in for free. They'll basically tell you, if you've got Amex points and you want to fly to LA next weekend, it'll tell you, hey, transfer to Air Canada, which is a United Airlines partner, and book business class via Air Canada.
I needed this.
So that's like, historically people will be like, Brian, I just don't have the time to learn all the nuance. But now it's Point.me is a great one. Roam, ROAME.travel is another one of these tools. So there are tools out there. Once again, they take a little bit of getting used to, but like if you're smart and savvy and know how to read blog posts, that's the beauty of everything I'm learning today. I'm just giving you the hints of where to go, but every topic I talk about, like just go like the Points Guide, best beginner credit cards. If you're thinking right now, well, what card should I be using for dining? Go to like the Points Guide, best credit card for dining, et cetera. And of course, obviously I'm promoting the Points Guide. There are tons of other really smart bloggers and websites. All this information's out there. There are Reddit threads on how to get the most out of your Chase Sapphire preferred card, right?
Yeah. I have a question. So maybe this is exactly what you're saying about transferable points. Like I remember when I got my Amex Platinum, I had to choose my airlines. Is that what this is?
So when you get your Amex Platinum, you have to choose an airline because they're going to give you a $200 airline credit a year. So they'll reimburse you for
checked
bags,
food,
et cetera.
And the lounge too, though, right? Because I thought I had to pick it for my lounge.
Well,
or no.
So the lounge access that comes with Amex, you don't have to choose. You get Delta when flying Delta, and you get into the Centurion Lounge.
Yes.
The only time you have to select an airline is for that airline credit.
Oh, okay.
The transfer partners, when you go into your Amex account, you can redeem points through gift cards, cash back, which is horrible redemption value.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, gift cards and cash back are awful. If you want, so this is another big mistake I see people making. They'll have a Chase Sapphire or an Amex Platinum and be like, oh, I redeemed for Saks gift cards. I'm like let out a blood-curdling scream.
Gosh, and my parents do it for Amazon.
So
are they destroying it?
Destroying value, destroying.
Stop.
So here's the deal: if you want to shop, if you no shade, if you want like your points to get gift cards, or what you need to do is just get a cashback credit card that gives you 2% back. So the Citi Double Cash is the best cashback credit card. Take that cash and then buy whatever your heart desires. That is TPG approved. What the mistake is pay an annual fee to get these super valuable Amex points.
Yeah.
And let's just go back to that 50,000 points. 50,000 Amex points is business class one-way Air France. Let's call it $4,000 in value to Europe one way. So 50,000 Amex points when you redeem for statement credit is worth $350.
Okay.
When you redeem for gift cards, it's $400 to $500. So once again, now to get let's just say we spent $50,000 to get those 50,000 points. On a 2% cash back card, you would be getting $1,000 cash back. So even if you don't want the $4,000 business class, you would never want to get Amex points and get $350 in cash back when just using a cash back card, you would be getting $1,000.
It's just more valuable that way.
It is just more valuable to earn straight up cash back.
Yeah, we've recently
using it for hotels. I did that once.
That's a great question.
Okay.
So this is
you're also
like, tell
wrong
us
on that.
more.
These are like good. This is like the natural. So each credit card company's points are worth a different amount. So basically the transferring to partners is great. Like Amex has a lot of airline partners. Amex's hotel transfers are not so good. So Amex points are generally not good for hotels because when you redeem them, the 50,000 points, same story, you're going to get, call it $400 in hotels. And this is where people don't even realize for that 50,000 in spend, I could be getting 1,000 cash back.
Okay.
So the 1,000 cash back is your gold standard. And if you want to redeem for hotels or Louboutins or whatever, you would never want to take 50,000 Amex points and turn it into $300 because like you should have just accrued cash back at 1,000.
Interesting.
You know, you're really just decreasing your points value and that's like really when people just start accruing into one currency, you have to take into account what you want to redeem for. Amex points, I'm not putting down Amex points. They're incredible. Amex also has transfer bonuses to airlines where you can, like the Air France ticket, the 50,000.
Yeah.
Amex will have 30% bonus to Air France, for example. So basically, Amex points are really unbelievable for airfare, but not good for hotels, gift cards, cash.
Good to know.
Chase points are really good for hotels. So if you have the Chase Sapphire Reserve, that's probably, that's if you ask most points people, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, it's $550, but you get $300 a year rebated to when you spend on travel. So it's really a $250 a year card. And those points are worth 1.5 cents each when you redeem for hotels or flights. So once again, Amex points are worth 0.8 cents a piece when you redeem for hotels. Chase points with the reserve are worth 1.5.
Oh,
so that's
a big
double.
comparison. Yeah.
So this is why you start accruing, and you can I have a Chase and an Amex card, but I never use my Amex points for hotels or gift cards or cash back because I'm destroying the value of those points. It's not really how the best they're to be used.
Does Chase still have the same thing
and
as
Chase
like
has
Amex?
transfers as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, what about like how you get like the late checkout and all that? Does it give you that?
So, and this is where Amex Hotels, so Amex has fine hotels and resorts through the Platinum card.
Yeah.
I will say Amex Fine Hotels and Resorts is better than Chase's hotel program. for
the
one example,
perks?
is the 4 p.m. checkout with Amex is guaranteed. And I love that.
Nice.
Yeah,
definitely
to
nice.
know that you've got 4 p.m. The Chase Hotels program is much newer. It's not as,
Okay.
and the perks aren't as strong. It's like 4 p.m. is if the hotel has availability.
Okay.
But Amex has been such an established program. Amex has said to all these hotels, no, you're giving our platinum card holders 4 p.m. and they bring so much business. So the Chase program, it's a younger program. It's not as good. But the value, so what I would do is
value, though.
I'll book hotels with Amex, but I'll pay for the hotel. I won't use the points.
Oh my gosh.
I use the
with
points for the
Chase.
flights, and then I'll just put the hotel on the
Oh, you're paying,
Amex,
right.
and
okay.
pay for it and earn points.
rather than use the points.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on, I feel like this is all subjective, but like, let's say you're going to book a hotel, you're booking flights with your points. Like, what do you feel about when people are like, oh, I want to like build up my points, or should you just use the 50,000 points on that?
So that's a great question. In general, I want people to use their points and take money off the table today, because one of the most interesting things happening. So there's like all these credit cards and points, which is, inflation. So basically every year airlines are
right.
charging more. So I was looking today I'm going to Europe. True life. I'm a 41-year-old late in life Swiftie. I'm going
my
to see
gosh.
Eras for the 4th time in London.
Studios
I too. In August?
You guys
No, I'm going in June.
Oh, you're going in June. I was like,
There's a
we're
lot
really
of
upset.
There's a lot. You guys are the same person.
I think I'm
fear.
following
Yeah.
right.
We can get into Taylor Swift travel too, because I have
Yes.
so many fun
We
stories.
didn't even talk about your upcoming trips. Yeah.
So you're using points for that because you don't want to let them sit, essentially, because otherwise
Yeah.
there's
Oh,
inflation
yes.
and they
So
lose
there
value.
is an epidemic in America called points hoarding, where people are just hoarding. I know so
I
many
know.
I'm
people.
doing
I'm
that.
not.
I'm kind of doing that too.
And it's
I know.
natural. There's a part that, and look,
You're like,
on the bright
ah.
side is you haven't squandered them. So that's good. Pat yourself.
Yeah.
But on the other side, the longer you wait to use points, the more these programs become less lucrative in general.
Okay.
But there's a fine balance. You shouldn't just be earning like 10,000 points and then squandering it every month. You want to build your points up to like really fabulous redemptions that you love. Like, so if
Right.
you're going to Europe this summer, like I love redeeming Emirates for their first class they fly JFK to Milan. And the A380 first class is caviar. There's a shower in the sky.
You're kidding.
So that's where Amex points are really good to transfer to Emirates.
Okay.
And through like these new programs that I talked about, like Seats.aero is another one where you can actually scan and just say, hey, when does Emirates have the JFK to Milan flight in first class? What days do they have seats? So it'll actually scan a full
okay.
year. And you can plan your trips. This is an expert tip is once you start becoming a point savvy person and you're like, no, I'm flying Emirates to Milan every time I go.
Yeah.
Because they literally serve unlimited caviar and Dom Perignon in first class. And you can take a
Unlimited?
shower. Yeah, you can. I know. I ate so much once, my like ankles bloated up from
I'm
sodium.
sure, yeah.
I was like, I don't want to eat anymore, but I have to get my money's worth.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Then you take a champagne shower, right?
Yeah. I actually once took the bottle of Dom into the shower
think
with
I
me
would
on the
too.
plane.
That's iconic, Brian. Oh my God.
So yeah. So yes, I redeem. So redeeming, like plan a dream trip and then work your points towards it and then redeem. But just like accruing with no end in sight and just keeping them accruing year over year,
Yeah.
you're actually hurting yourself because every year it's going to be more miles to go where you need to go. But sometimes it does. If you don't have and the beauty of these transferable points, your Amex points, your Chase points, leave them there until you have the redemption in mind and you confirm availability. A big mistake I see people make is, oh, I just transferred all my points to United. And then they're like, oh, wait, United doesn't fly to where I'm
you wanna
going.
go.
Oh, can I transfer them back? No. So once you
Oh,
transfer
shoot.
out, limited circumstances, they might let you transfer them back, but I would never count it. So you leave them in, or you might want to say, like Built has these crazy transfer. A lot of them have transfer bonuses, and usually they come out on the first of the month. So, if you want to go to London, Virgin Atlantic is amazing to London. They have like,
So you don't
really-
recommend Delta to go to London?
no, Delta's good, but they're going to charge you 475,000 points.
Yeah.
When you book through Virgin Atlantic, it's only 70,000 points, or 50,000, as low as 50,000, 52,500. So, like the same flight, if you transferred your Amex to Virgin for the same exact flight, you're paying a fraction. Now, Virgin does have higher fees along with their tickets,
Okay.
but when Delta's charging 400,000 points and you can use 50,000, even if Virgin has $600 more in fees, you're still coming out way ahead by saving hundreds of thousands of points. The end of the day, like your points, you will get, after you start using them, you'll create a value of what these points mean to me. And you'll
Yeah,
start,
that's true. You get used to it.
yeah. So you'll start saying like, no, I'm getting like especially when you fly business class, it's almost always like you're almost always getting a really good deal if you can redeem points for business class, at like the saver level, like the lowest level they offer.
Oh my gosh.
How are you deciding then? I think you kind of alluded to this. Like so let's just say I'm just making a purchase in general. Like what goes on what card? Is it because you're thinking, okay, like I'm traveling, so I'm going to put it on the Platinum Amex. I'm buying my hotel, so I'm going to put it on the Chase.
Yeah.
You're thinking like that?
So yeah, when it's travel, like so hotels, like the airfare I'll put on my Platinum card because it's 5 points per dollar. Now most purchases every day. So you're going to a clothing store, right? Like there's no credit card that'll give you double points on fashion.
Okay,
Unfortunately.
It's good to know.
But
Darn.
here's the thing with shopping. So we all shop online. This is another groundbreaker. Everyone take notes. So you can be earning, so you want to be earning as many points per dollar on everything. So that getting back to that Chase Freedom Unlimited, that is 1.5 cents or 1.5 points on everything. So even if you have the Chase Sapphire Reserve, which is $550 a year, that's triple points on travel and dining. It's only 1 point on everything else. So there is a scenario in which you would want to have your Sapphire Reserve, and people's minds are blown when I'm like, but the no annual fee Chase Freedom Unlimited is 1.5 on everything. And 1 to 1.5 doesn't seem like a big difference, but that's literally 50% more on your base earn. So with your Sapphire Reserve, you're only using that to pay for travel and dining.
Sapphire Reserve.
Every other purchase is Freedom Unlimited, so you're getting 1.5 points for it. So I like put most of my shopping expenses like on a Freedom Unlimited. I also have the Capital One's a good ecosystem too. Capital One Venture card is 2x on everything. So between Freedom Unlimited or the Capital One Venture, which gives 2x on every single purchase.
Everything?
Yeah. So you want to be like the purchases where you're not earning on like dining, groceries, whatever. You want a card that's either 1.5 or 2. So that your base you're never earning 1 point per dollar. That's generally the goal of an advanced points person.
Yeah.
That's wow. I have to reassess like the way I do everything, I swear.
And this is all very overwhelming to people, but I'm just laying out the more intermediate and advanced. But like once you get the hang of it, you'll be like, wait, I want more points. Because once you start redeeming and you're like, it is a rush. If you've never redeemed points for like business class to Europe, the minute you book that ticket and you're like, wait a minute, I spent $71 for a flight that's $8,000. It's like, and then my nanny, who's like 23, just flew for the first time to Europe, business class.
Oh.
And she just looked at me and was like, what? She's like, I flew and they actually wanted me on the plane.
Oh.
She was like, they served me meals and I watched, she's like, when can I do it again? She was like, she's like, it's, she's only flown coach and her whole life and was like, let's sign up and do it.
Yeah.
So.
And your son lives his best life.
Oh my God, my son has been to 16 countries and he's 20 months old. So
Dean, right?
Dean.
What a story to tell. Oh, that's so special.
That would be his biggest
my Instagram
flex.
is @BrianKelly and I post I don't try not to do too much of his content. I'm not like a daddy blogger, don't want to be.
But like a little
But my
hand
son
there.
is so freaking cute and I dress him up to travel. So I just posted today, Virgin Atlantic, we flew their new business class and he was in a little vest and a bow tie. And it's like,
perfect.
He walks through the airport. I mean, every flight crew, they just
they're
like
obsessed, I'm sure.
So, and any for like people who think that travel stops when you become a parent, like it is certainly has its challenges and requires a lot more planning than when you're just solo. But like I have learned, at age 41 now, I'm traveling and re-experiencing travel in the same destinations in a whole new way. Like just being in London with my son last month, like walking through the parks and just having a day of just being with my son in London on a nice warm day. It was just like this, it just recalibrates everything.
Oh, that makes me so happy to hear.
That's so sweet. So he's 20 months old, you said?
20 months, yeah.
So does he get his own seat or do you
So it's a weird
you?
phase where like a lot of airlines won't even allow you to get. So in the beginning, I got him his own seat because he had a Duna, this that snaps into a stroller, into a car seat. It's amazing.
Oh.
He's in it like the 93rd percentile. So even when he was like 22 pounds, he's broad. So he was in the Duna like this. And at a certain point, he's like, get me out of here. But in the beginning, like 0 to 6 months to any parents out is the easiest travel because, your kid just sleeps the whole time in the Duna.
Okay.
You can just roll them in, carry them on the plane, snap them in. Most of the time they just.
Wow. But now
it's when they become mobile. So at age 2,
running through the aisles.
and literally I look down and he's like, oh, found a piece of gum under a chair. I'm like, no.
Oh God, you're like, no.
But you find ways to keep them busy. But yeah, so he doesn't have his own seat yet. At age 2, he will. But a lot of international airlines don't even let you. There is no carrier that's like like a seat that works for him. Like so
Right,
he's in this
yeah.
weird zone. So he sits on my lap and then they give you a baby seatbelt that loops through mine and goes around his waist. So yeah, if there's like turbulence or whatever, he's so it's cute when it works. But then when you just learn early on like all the tricks, stickers, snacks,
Stickers.
things to do.
distraction. You've got to have a bag of tricks.
distraction.
Back to snacks, and
Wow. So I wanted to ask you in the beginning, but we just got too excited. So what are your upcoming travels, or what have you been up to this summer? I feel like everyone's doing so you were just in London.
I was just in London and Lake Como and Lisbon. So I did this thing during the pandemic called the Golden Visa, where Portugal had it, where I invested like 300,000 euros into a hotel. I earn a small amount of, and you become a resident. And after 5 years, you have to spend 1 week a year in Portugal, which is so easy.
Oh, cool.
And you have to take a language test, which is like, it's difficult from what I hear, but it's not impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get your citizenship. So in 2026, I'm going to be a full Portuguese citizen. So I have to spend 1 week a year in Portugal, which is like fun.
Oh no, yeah.
That program has since changed a little bit, although like
that's really
you can still
cool.
get the Golden Visa is what it's called. So
you didn't you have your birthday there or something?
Yeah, I
You
had
had
my
a trip.
40th birthday
Yes.
in Lisbon.
Yes.
I spent another tip for any parents or people thinking about being parents, like taking your maternity or paternity leave in chunks. It's like in the beginning, like, yes, you want to be with your like little nugget,
Yeah.
but I took a chunk when he was 6 months old, which was so much like,
More
it was
impactful.
so fun because he
rewarding,
was
yeah.
like more interactive and spending time. So that was like so I spent the month of my 40th birthday in Portugal, going from Porto to Lisbon. That was the party I like surprised all my friends and flew in Kim Petras
I remember I
in a
saw
little
it all.
castle
Insane.
in Estoril outside of Lisbon. That was
How special.
a really cool night.
Would you say Portugal is like one of your favorite places?
For
to travel?
sure. And like it's the third safest country in the world. And for, we're talking finance and being smart about travel, the euro is still pretty weak compared to the US dollar. It's like $1 to $1.10. Like when I studied abroad in 2005, it was like $1.30.
Right.
And now it's $1.10. And especially if you're shopping, you can actually buy luxury goods at a huge discount in Europe because you also get the tax back. So not only is like the currency exchange alone makes it cheaper than the US, and then you get up to 20% back. So I know so many of my friends are buying
I
goods.
just did that. I just went to Italy and we show up with all of our
Your
documents and
receipts,
whatever.
just keep your documents. They make it pretty easy now. There's an app, the Global Blue. Just make
I
sure.
was gonna say, what's the easiest way to do
I just
I did-
talked
we
to
did
Mel-
not do the app
I
and
just
we-
did Melissa Gorga's like podcast. She's like, I went to Rome and got all this stuff. She's like, I forgot to have customs check it. Do you think they'll care? I'm like, yes, Melissa. There's She's like, yeah, they keep texting me that I have one last thing to do. And I'm like, she's actually going back to Europe. Like, I'm like, you can do it on your way back next
Yeah.
time. But so
How
the shopping
funny.
is good as long as you follow the simple rules.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we
You
were
just did
confused
it?
on like what lines to go. It's like they were like, go on this line. They're like, oh no, you have to go on that line first. And
It
we're
can
like,
be really
oh my
annoying.
gosh,
Some of them
what
are more annoying that sometimes they just look at you and like stamp, go away,
it just
but
depends
it's
on their
worth
mood.
it, people. Like,
For
especially
sure. It's free money. I was
it's
about to walk
free
away. And my
money.
parents were like,
You're
"We
in the
can't."
airport anyway. Like, yeah.
Is this for like any? Because did you get any designer things, or is just for shopping in general?
Technically, it's shopping in general, but some stores won't do it unless you spend over a certain amount. So definitely for designer.
Yeah, definitely.
Like we made a big purchase at Gucci, so did it there.
You
and then,
did?
But even some of the shopping, like I would spend, still a couple €100 on like
Yeah.
dresses and stuff,
Yeah.
and they would still give it to me. So you
Oh,
get
that's
back
amazing.
the whatever was like 13% or
Yeah.
something. Like it's literally
Crazy.
free money.
No,
and
I
it goes
know.
direct deposit onto your card. Back to the shopping, because the biggest tip bomb that I was going to drop
Always
for
shopping
everyone
tips.
Oh,
was,
love it.
so anyone who shops online, you can get shopping portals. So there are these shopping portals where you'll get extra airline miles for free. So in addition to using your credit card, so repeat after me, never, ever, ever go directly to a retailer's website. You want to click through the Delta shopping mall, the American Airlines, the Hilton, the whatever. There's a shopping mall for every major credit card, airline. And what it does is it puts a cookie on your computer and you get extra frequent flyer miles like deposited directly into your account.
Anytime you're shopping or internationally?
Anytime you're shopping, this is back.
This is online shopping.
This is
back to
online shopping back at home. Almost
What?
Is this
every
kind of like a Rakuten or like a
Yeah,
it's very
is it like
similar. It's
that?
like similar to
Okay.
like Cashback Rakuten.
All right.
But so you should always, so
it's
I
for-
use cashbackmonitor.com, type in your retailer.
Yeah.
And sometimes like the Rakutens will be like 1 or 2%, but
Yeah.
you can be earning like 5 airline miles per dollar that are, in my opinion, are worth like 10% back of your
So
purchase.
like for travel, or depending on what you're wanting.
Yes. So basically,
My
like just
God.
you should, even if you're not getting if you're getting cash back, just always double check to make sure like the amount of cash back you get via like getting airline miles
Yeah.
can be more valuable, especially once you start learning how to use frequent flyer miles.
Yeah.
You may want to get, and actually even with Rakuten, they don't advertise it, but instead of getting 1% back, you can earn 1 Amex point. And once you start learning how to use Amex points to fly business class, you always take the Amex point.
Yeah,
you
you're
know?
realizing that that's
So, so you can, instead of just getting that 1% back, you get Amex points but yeah, so many people shop online and just go straight to retailer websites. You are losing out on tons and tons of absolutely free points. They literally go directly into your frequent flyer accounts. Plus you earn the points from using a credit card.
I was going to ask, do you
so
lose
it's a double
that?
dip.
You get both.
Both.
that's
And remind me how you can, like, let's say, how do I find the Delta one?
Yeah. So, it's like skymileshopping.com. But what I
okay.
recommend, the only website you need to know is cashbackmonitor.com.
Cashback.
Okay.
monitor.
You type in the retailer and then it'll pull up, okay, here are the cashback sites. Here are the airline sites. Here are the credit card portals. This is how much you're going to earn at each. So if you're like, wait a minute, I want to earn 6 American miles, is way better than 1 cent cash back.
Wow.
wow, that's a
This,
really
I'm going to be like,
good
I
one.
have to buy these dresses because
Yeah.
I'm going to get
You're
miles.
literally, this is like
Brian,
points girl math. Yeah.
Going back to travel, because I feel like I'm at this point in my life, I'm like, I want to go places. Like my boyfriend and I are like, where should we go in December? Just like planning ahead,
Yep.
things like that. But then we're like, okay, where are we going? How do we make an itinerary? Like I want to
Yep.
hear from you because you travel all over the place. Like where are we starting?
So here's another huge tip of mine. Chase the deals. So this is what I do. And you need to, we all buy flights. I go to Google Flights, google.com/flights. That's where you should start every single flight search at. It's better than any of the online travel agencies. They even just added Southwest. So most major airlines are on Google Flights and it'll compare and contrast. So you can see in one spot, like I think it's the most like, the best place to start searching for flights. Well, Google Flights has this cool feature. It's called Explore. So if you don't know where you want to go, so say you just need to get away to the Caribbean in December, this week, these days, or you can even put any weekend in January, February. Google will reverse engineer. So you can put in New York City to the Caribbean in January, 4 days, this weekend, what you got. And it'll show you a map of the Caribbean with the flight prices. And you can even filter nonstop. You can filter first class. So what I would say to you in that situation is find the cheapest deal. Certainly if you can find a points deal somewhere that you're like, and that's why back to all those, the point.me's of the world, like those points search engines, find the best award inventory and then build your trip around it if you're flexible. So that's where you're going to get the most value.
It's a fun game to play too.
Totally. And when you're not locked, and this is like I tell people like go places you haven't been before.
Yeah.
Use the Google Explore map. If Turks and Caicos is, you always go to Aruba, but if Turks is half the price, don't waste money on a flight. Go to Turks and spend that money on experiences,
Oh my gosh.
No, that's a really good tip.
Yeah, so
That's a
Google
fun
Flights Explore map.
And then just because I feel like when you travel, you do such like cool experiences and things, like are you just looking at other people and what they're doing on social media? Like how are you getting, I guess, kind of like inspiration for then what to do?
So I'm always on social trying to figure out, I have a lot of friends in travel. So if I'm going somewhere where I know like one of my influencer friends really knows, like
Yeah.
I'll DM people. Hotels are also really big resources, especially if you're staying at a nice hotel. Like the concierge is there. So in advance, like all your hotel, look at the best restaurants and have your concierge reach out, at least put them
True.
to work. Also your credit card, Amex Platinum has a concierge.
Yeah.
They're not amazing all the time, but they have you can just, at least you can email them and say, hey, can you get me reservations here? Or tell me what Michelin starred restaurants in Rome you can get me out on these 2 nights. So I like to put
Interesting.
other people to work.
That's smart. I feel like I don't take enough advantage of that. And
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like some reservations in New York are just impossible to
I-
get. And we're
one
trying
of
to find
the-
hacks.
Well, it's all
to-
about bots now. You have to pay these apps that just like take the
Yeah.
reservations.
Oh my God, I didn't even know about
Yeah,
that
you can
makes
pay
so
like
much
$30
sense.
to get all the best app. Everyone has these scrapers now that just take all the best reservations. and
Wow.
That's
they're-
why we can never get them.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, does it matter what Amex card you have? Because I remember my friend was telling me, oh, my boyfriend has this Amex card, so he was able to get us like a Carbone reservation. Or is that
Yeah.
just the
No, so
concierge in
Amex
general?
bought Resi. So Amex owns Resi. And within, if you have an Amex Platinum, always link it to your Resi because they have the global dining experiences. So they have
Yes.
extra reservations. All of the major credit card companies, Chase has Chase restaurants that they work with, Capital One Dining,
So
like
it depends
Built
what they
Dining.
have.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Built is leaning into that as
Bill
well.
has that too? Okay.
Yeah, they have a whole dining platform and Built. So a lot of these programs, Built has a lot of like Cucina Alba, which is, you get double points as well and preferred reservations. So
I need to get a bill card.
Yeah.
That'll be my third. I have two. Maybe I'll get a third.
But is it really for
bill
renters? Like if I'm not
no,
renting
so that's
anymore?
the thing. You
oh,
I'm
right.
like, oh my
She's
gosh,
a
I don't need it.
yeah, so bill card. If you're not a renter, you can still get it. You get 2x on dining, 3x. 2x on travel, 3x on dining. But there are for dining, you could just get an Amex Gold for 4x. Bill points are
Right,
very
the Amex
valuable. The bill card is an absolute no-brainer for renters. I don't rent, and I'm an investor, so I
Yeah.
clearly
Yeah,
have it.
of
But I
course.
earn 6 points per dollar. The bill points are super valuable, and I earn 6, and it's no annual fee, so there's no reason not to
yeah,
have
like
it.
why
Okay,
wouldn't
that's
you?
There's like-
amazing.
And Built has tons of really cool promotions. The rent day promotions every month, where you get free Soul Cycle, free all sorts
Very
of fitness classes,
cool.
and they have very lucrative transfer bonuses. So I've built points, and it not just the points guide. Most people value Built points as the most valuable currency out there, because you can
Excellent.
transfer them to both United. American Airlines is going away, but also Alaska Airlines. Which you can't Amex or Chase. So each program has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
Got to find what's right for you.
I have
Yeah.
a question. I do City Custom Cash too.
Mhm.
Because it like
Yeah.
like how do you feel about something like that like does it automatically? Because I just using my brain to be like, I'm gonna use this for this and
Yeah.
this for this. Sometimes I'm just like I want to be on autopilot.
Well,
you
yeah,
know?
I like the credit cards
Totally.
that will choose like your highest category for you and
Yeah.
spend. What I don't like is these, there are a lot of credit cards that are like 5x, but it's like only up to $1,500 in these random
Gotcha.
rotating categories. The thing is, most people are not like, I much prefer to get like a solid 1.5% to 2% back than getting one with spritzes of 5s in here because no one has
Right.
time. And you're not
Mm-hmm.
changing what you're spending if you're changing what you're spending just on a credit card category, you're kind of losing at the game, right? Like when
Yeah.
you're spending extra at a pharmacy just to get more points, like, well,
You're
shouldn't
spending
have-
more, so
Yeah,
you're-
like what, to
you're
get
paying
2%
more,
back,
yes.
you're spending, you're losing. So
Huh. Well, I know we were talking about travel, but I do want to go back to travel because I think the first way I found you was the lounges. Like we both
The
travel
lounge
a lot. The
reviews,
lounge
yeah.
reviews. Like I've literally gone on your website. I'm like, I need to know what's what. Do you have a favorite lounge?
So interestingly, the credit card lounges are the nicest lounges in the US. So
Oh, you
Chase,
think?
so Chase Sapphire just came out with this new lounge at LaGuardia that is unbelievable. It's like one of the most beautiful lounges
Real nicer
in the
than,
US. It's
wow,
nicer.
than anything you've.
I think it's the
seen.
nicest lounge in the US. I would go as far to say the nicest lounge. Capital
Yeah.
One has great lounges. They now have them in Dallas, in Dulles, in DC, and Denver, and they're going to be opening in JFK. They just announced.
Okay.
So if you have the Capital One, the Amex Centurion lounges are really nice.
Yeah.
They can get crowded. The issue with the
I
lounges
haven't
is
loved the food in the Centurion one.
Centurions are like,
least
they've
the
been around the
breakfast.
longest. There've been there's a lot of them. So Amex has the most Centurion lounges. But yeah, and they're really good though. When you go, a lot of airline lounges will ding you. If you want to get a glass of champagne, it's $10 charge versus just getting
True.
free Prosecco, whatever.
Okay.
So in general, I think the credit card lounges are here, and then it's like the airline lounges. And then of the
Oh.
airline lounges, there's different varieties. But
Guess it
in
depends on the
general, all the lounges
airport.
have gotten nicer. Over the last 15 years of
Yeah.
me monitoring this industry, the lounges are nicer, which means more people want to spend time,
True.
which is why you now see lines outside of certain lounges,
Yeah.
which is a problem. So now the credit card companies are trying to restrict,
yeah.
you have to spend $75,000 to get unlimited access. But the good news is the lounges, I think, are as good as they've ever been.
So if there's a Chase Sapphire lounge, like you're going there.
Yeah. But to get into the Chase Sapphire, you have to have the Chase Sapphire Reserve, which is just another.
Reserve.
It's like another level.
If you have
sounds
the
fancy.
preferred or like a priority pass card, you can still get in like once or twice a year. It's a little
Okay.
confusing, but yes.
That's your if you can. I think it also depends on the airport too, right? Like I
Totally.
know at the Atlanta airport, I don't love all of the Delta lounges
No,
there.
I mean,
Like,
in
it just
general, though, I'm
depends.
like, and actually another tip, especially for the New Yorkers, like traffic to airports is like, I almost missed my flight to London recently. When I tell you,
Traffic.
like the traffic to JFK this summer is going to be its worst it's ever been. It's like literally 2 to 3 hours to get to JFK sometimes. So leave early. This is your warning from me.
So early.
Even if you're in LA, like LA traffic is always bad, but like build in extra time to get to the airport. Take mass transit when possible. They don't really make it that easy in New York.
Big
But like
bad.
get to the airport early. And also, everyone listening, another piece of advice you have to do is get global entry.
Oh
just do it.
yes.
So a lot of credit cards will give you free. Global entry is only $100. It's going to go up to like $120 this fall. But get global entry. what it does, it also gives you TSA pre-check. So Global Entry is the program when you come back from abroad, you go to a kiosk and you're through in 30 seconds versus waiting in that long ass immigration line, which can be horrible in certain airports. So even if you only travel abroad once a year or even every other year, paying $100 for 5 years, you're paying $20, but it automatically gets you TSA pre-check, which will get you through normal security at every US airport for the most part, much quicker. And most credit cards now, the Sapphire, the Capital One, all these credit cards we've been talking about give it to you for free. And here's another tip. So if you have 2 credit cards that have a Global Entry credit, you can't get it twice. You can actually buy it for a friend. And just have them use your card to check out. They don't match the name to your credit card. They're
not checking.
The credit cards are programmed. Whenever there's a $100 charge from the U.S. government or 85 for TSA, they just rebate it. So if you've got a couple cards with free Global Entry, tell one of your friends, hey,
love it.
Put it on mine, I get it for free. And every 5 years, they reset that credit on all these credit cards.
One, I think, final thing to end on is now, at least at the LaGuardia Airport and some of these other bigger airports you go, there's like 1,000 lines. There's digital ID. Can we talk about that? How do you, I randomly got it. I don't know how. You have it too, right?
I think it's linked to your passport or
Why
something.
do we have
Delta
that?
is like the one main person, the main airline enrolling in digital ID. There's Clear. So Clear used to be amazing. It can still save you time. Amex Platinum gives Clear credits if you have elite status with an airline. So if you're a frequent traveler, I would say get Clear.
Yeah.
I still feel like it can.
You think it's worth it?
Clear will get, if you have Clear and pre-check, it gets you can either choose. If the pre-check line's moving quick, just choose that.
Yeah.
But sometimes pre-check in LaGuardia is like a mile long. So Clear can get you to the front of that line.
Front of
Clear
pre-check.
also works at like baseball stadiums, MSG, et cetera. So I do like Clear. But there have been some hiccups with Clear. If you ask some other travelers, it's not really worth it. But especially if you can get it on your credit card, I say go for it.
They take the charge right off.
Yes.
It's the same way.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
And finally too, with Global Entry. So if you don't want to get Global Entry, well, first off, a lot of times people will say, I don't want to get Global Entry because it's hard to get an appointment to get your interview. So you have to pay $100 and you have to go to JFK. Tip, in New York City, there's office at Bowling Green downtown. So you don't even have to go to the airport.
No excuses.
There is an app called Appointment Scanner, and it's $29. You pay for it, and it scans all day long the Global Entry appointments. And when I tell you, there's always last minute cancellations. So when you pay the $29, it'll text you, hey, there's a Bowling Green appointment tomorrow, 9 a.m. Do you want it? You instantly click it and take it. Everyone I've ever recommended to. So if you're a New Yorker, don't bother going to JFK or Newark to do your appointment. Or you can just do your appointment whenever you come back from going abroad.
So my boyfriend did, just through customs. They asked him to come
when you go
in
through.
the line.
The only downside to that is that you have to go through customs normally and then do the interview. So if you want to get it done before you go, you can scan. So the day of departure or in New York, you can just scan and just go to the Bowling Green. That's literally every day they have appointments. Online, when you check once, it'll show October as the first appointment, but you will get a text within 24 hours being able to scoop up those coveted spots. And did I say, even if you don't get Global Entry, get Mobile Passport. So Mobile Passport is like Global Entry Lite. It's free. Just download the app. And sometimes even Global Entry melts down. So having Mobile Passport gets you through sometimes even quicker than Global. I still prefer Global, and I think it's worth it to get your pre-check. But Mobile Passport, just have it on your phone, download it in case. You don't want to be downloading it after you arrive, trying to do it. So always have that on your phone.
Do you have like a bajillion apps on your phone? Like you have like a hack or an app for everything.
And I'm like, I'm not organized on my phone. I don't have folders, and they're everywhere. And I'm just like, wait, what's the name of that?
Is it on like
you just search
slide
it.
9? Like, or is it?
I never slide. I just search usually.
yeah.
But then I'll be like, after months of not using a certain app, I'm like, what is that called?
Like,
again?
what does
But
it even look like?
I'm the worst. I need
No,
to,
but you have a lot of like little. I feel like you're like
Yeah.
this website, this app, this I love it. That was so informative. Oh my gosh, we're
Brian.
gonna reassess everything that we've been.
I'm going to re-listen to this episode 1,000 times, take all the notes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you.
on here. Where can everyone find you?
So the Points Guy, my website that I founded, it was 14 years ago this month, was my first blog post. So thepointsguy.com, at The Points Guy on all socials, our brand account. And then I'm at Brian Kelly. So that's where I post my personal trips, travels. A lot of the topics we've covered today, if you go to my pinned Instagram stories, there's like a whole global entry. There's, pinned stories from my Como trip. Every airline I fly, I review and give I'm 6'7", so whenever I fit in an airline seat, you can be rest assured you're going to fit comfortable. And I do shower tests at hotels where I walk under the shower head. So if I can fit in it, but yeah, so
Wow. Seriously, he's a great follow. Brian Kelly and the Points Guy account, both great accounts to follow. Thank you so much again for taking the time
Thank
to
you
give
for
everyone the
having
advice.
me.
Thank you.
Of
This is so
course.
great.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Safe travels.
Bye.